Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, this is the first time I'm reading something like this, and it seems like the Russians have to have this in Germany more than the German population seems like. Well, I don't know if these were little cells that were activated to do what they are doing, but the fact is they came in the street, the Russian diaspora in Germany, organized a protest, went in the streets and in Germany, and they protested against the sanctions. Now let's read and see how many they were and what exactly they want. So this is an article from Reuters from September 4th, 2022, and this is the title: Russian diaspora in Germany holds rare rally against sanctions. Cologne, Germany. Some 2,000 mostly Russian-speaking protesters marched in the western city of Cologne on Sunday to demand Germany to stop supporting Ukraine and drop sanctions it imposed after Moscow invaded its neighbor earlier this year. This article, I looked over it a little bit, which I usually don't do, but I want to see what is going on here. It follows the same rule, psychological rule of forming opinion, which is they start at the beginning with introduction, then in the middle of the article, the bulk of the article, they give you the information about what happened or what didn't happen in a kind of balanced or maybe a little bit skewed way towards in this case against these Russians. And then at the end, when the brain memorizes, usually, as we know, that's where psychology gets into this. We know that when in a story we are most likely to remain with memory with the end and the beginning of a story or a movie or an article. So at the end they will ramp up their propaganda to let us with what we have to remain, and we're gonna probably forget what was the article all about because they're going to give us the end. Watch 99% of the articles that you read, and they are, let's say, they discuss Trump did something, and then they start like objective, in the bulk they do whatever they do, and at the end they say he was impeached 1,000 times, he grabbed women by whatever, he did this, he did this. So you remain, the brain remains with the last part. So just pay attention. So let's see. Right, the rally organized by Russian-speaking diaspora groups in the city was met by a few dozen counter-protesters who had also gathered in the shadow of Cologne's hulking Gothic cathedral to express support for Ukraine. All right. I wonder if that turned violent as it turns in United States of America, the most civilized country in the world. I wonder if the counter-protesters attacked the protesters or vice versa, and they got in a scuffle with masks and all that thing, or they were kind of civilized, even though you see it's kind of strange that you don't kind of see these kind of things in certain countries, but you see in other countries where is our strength. All right, you know what I mean, right? So, Germany is home to some 3 million people of Russian ethnic background, many of them heavily exposed to Kremlin narratives. How do you know? Didn't you ban Russia Today over there? So, how do you know that? Many of them heavily exposed to Kremlin's narrative about the world via state-controlled Russian television, which is widely available. I thought you imposed there's no, in European Union, no, you can't do this, they ban this, they ban that. I know they did. I tell you why, because Russia said, okay, Deutsche Welle, you can't do this in Russia. And the Germans were like, nein, this is not fair. No, das ist kein gut or whatever. No good here. No. Russia Today and all that. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. Maybe they reversed certain things, but I know that Russia, I don't know if it still works over there, but you can access it if you want. I'm guessing in a free country as Germany is. All right. Germany is in chaos, said Elena Kalbasnikova, an organizer. And I'm here, listen. Repeating President Vladimir Putin's assertion that Russia's invasion protects Russian speaking in Eastern Europe. Is that an assertion? Is that a fact or is it an assertion? Did forces, military, Ukraine military, sent by Kiev, that leadership in 2014 that took over after a coup supported by outside forces, in any country you would be called a traitor if you would overthrow a democratically elected legitimate government with outside influence and support. You would be called. Try here in the United States and see how you would be portrayed. Look at what happened in January 6th, and they call all those guys in certain names and all that. And he was all right. So yeah, and then didn't they send the military to those guys, or those guys sent the military towards Kiev? Which one was it? Well, I think it was the Ukrainian military sent over there. And what did those guys do? They defended while these guys were attacking them, right? So is it an assertion or is it a fact? All right, let's move on and see what this weasel is saying here. Oh, we have a name. Let's see. Her name is Maria Tsvetkova and Stefan Nitschke. Good job. Good job. All right. Germany is in chaos. Okay. How will we survive this winter? Asked the same Elena. Tough German-Russian diaspora invest. There have been rarely few pro-Putin rallies since the start of the war because they were afraid. They were pushed in the defensive. If you say something, try here and say some truth here in the United States and see how you say, well, I believe that science says this about this subject. That's a fact. And then you get all people in your face and you might get fired from your job. So, yeah. It says, many of Sunday's protesters held Russian flags or banners with the letters NATO, that transatlantic military alliance, crossed out with a red line. And organizers collected donations for Russian-backed separatist forces in eastern Ukraine's Donbas region. One German speaker, a baker, said high gas prices would have him without a job by the end of the year, blaming Germany for refusing to open the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Berlin says the so far empty pipeline is a red herring, since Moscow faces no capacity constraints and is refusing to send gas. Okay, all right. And it says earlier, it tells us that is not Chancellor Scholz's fault is Russians. Earlier, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said he was confident Germany had sufficient gas to get through the winter. Kremlin-linked Russian media have disputed this, saying Western Europe will freeze this winter for want of Russian gas. And it says here that the diaspora ranks have been swelled further by Russians who left the country in protest at the invasion. This is what I was telling you, the end part where you're going to remain with this. We came here to show that there are many Russian speakers who believe that Putin slided towards a fascist regime, said Ivan Belousov, a counter-protester. He said he had been imprisoned on politically motivated charges in Russia, fleeing after his release. Footage from the scene showed police detaining at least one protester. Okay, so they were a little bit, All right, so see, this is the end. So it was bad, these people. Just let me tell you something. When these guys go to Germany, just so you know, or America, come here and say, you know what, I was abused in my country, I want a political asylum. And you say, well, I was in prison there, go and check for my records. Good luck. You know, that's a lot of way of pooping on your country, but it's okay. Maybe that's true. Maybe this guy was politically imprisoned. Maybe he was abused. Maybe all that. I do not know. I'm telling you how I know. I know people. who came in or went in different countries, Western countries, and they claim political asylum exactly for this kind of reason. That I was in prison, they just, I'm a homosexual, I am this, they don't respect. That was a long time ago, 20, 30 years in Romania. So that's all right. So nevertheless, see, people are protesting, counter-protesting. That's what is in a free society. I'm glad nothing, came out of that. Like, I don't know, broken windows, Gucci stores, taken care of because they deserve it somehow. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.